Hey, good morning everybody, this is the Hammered Airsoft Smith. And I've been working on something behind the scenes, as you can see here. Some of you may have a pretty good idea of what this is. So this would be part 1 of my M1911 A1 shoulder stock build. I made this completely from scraps, no power tools, nothing like that, just strictly from what I had laying around. The stock is from the Buckmaster BB gun. I cut the stock off and I left this, what I call the cup section, because it's kind of like a cup, it has a lip. Filed and sanded all these edges here so everything's nice and smooth. After cutting all this out and doing all that I just said, I then used a flathead screwdriver to pry the stock into 2 pieces. And then I measured the distance between the grip of the pistol to decide where I was going to put these screws. Because obviously if you have them too far away, it's going to like flop around, it won't fit right, and you have a large gap here. And if you put it too close, then you won't be able to fit it on at all, because there'll be no room. So after deciding and figuring out the distance that I needed between this grip and the face of this stock here and this screw, I then fitted this piece. And this metallic piece is actually like a pipe fastener that I had. I was actually using this as a foresight for my Swiss Arms Model 40 bolt action spring powered rifle. So I flattened that out. Put the screw here, put a screw here. This screw is very short, so it does not interfere with the magazine. And this screw is kind of long, it almost goes to the other end. It's actually going inside because inside the stock, when you have it in half, there's like skeletal framework inside. And the screw is like right up against, almost inside one of the skeletal sections, or one of the frame sections, to keep that sturdy. So this is not moving at all, but there is a little bit of give where the grip and the fastener meet. But that's okay, because I need a little bit for when I reload magazines. Because this goes just under the mag well, ever so slightly. So this turns slightly. I'm worried about in longevity whether or not that's going to loosen up. Because it will eventually, because this is metal and it's rubbing up against ABS checkering. Might smooth out the checkering. But I guess I'll worry about that when the time comes. Because it may not actually ever happen. Because there's such little give. Now this here, oh, going back to here, I gotta stay on topic. I apologize. Not like I really need to, but anyways. This cup here actually acts like a support, because it sits here and it keeps the stock from tilting downward. So it's almost it's pretty necessary to have this here. I did shave it down a little bit so there's a little less movement required between the grip and this fastener or brace. This leather piece is actually there to keep this from moving, but moving just enough again for reloads. Also, it kind of just matches. Yeah, for some reason I have this thing where with these like leather pieces, I like them. But anyway, so it's kind of more like a cosmetic thing than actually doing anything, but I like it there for support. This here connects through the other side. See, here connects. Keep this tight so that way there's a nice fitment between the stock and the back strap section of the pistol. When everything was measured and fitted, I then glued both ends or both halves of the stock together. I waited 24 hours. And then I sanded all the edges that were not smooth so I could smooth them out. This is ABS plastic, by the way, but it does look, well, here it does look kind of plasticky, but when you're outside or in natural light, it actually looks like black oak. Anyways, so yeah, sanded all the rough edges out, then I oiled a rag to give it a nice shine and to kind of clean it and finish it off. And this is the semi-final product. And I say semi because I'm not sure there's more I'm going to do. And by the way, this was Birchwood Casey's aluminum black, only a couple coats. I wasn't too concerned about how that looked because I kind of like the rugged look. If you look back at the real steel M1911 A1 stocks, shoulder stocks, a lot of them did look kind of crude, so that's okay, so it kind of fits. There were three different shoulder stocks to my knowledge, but two of them are more on the historical side. One had the grip, and then I had like a skeletonized stock that connected to the grip, where the grip is actually one with it in a sense. And then there's another one where it was kind of like a Mauser C96 style, where it would go into the main spring housing, and those were usually wooden. So we're going to fit this. And this is also based upon having a lanyard loop, because the lanyard loop itself kind of rests inside this cup for more support. Okay. It's kind of hard to fit this all in camera because I'm still getting used to this new setup I have. But the fitment between the stock and the grip is pretty tight. There's a slight movement. There's a little more side-by-side movement than there is vertical. Show you what I mean about the magazines. I'll bring out two. One with the flush mag base and one with the bumper. Okay. You can see the magazine kind of rubs on this cup, but the magazine kind of pushes that out of the way, and then when you put the stock up against you, it goes back to where it's needed. Oop. This is so awkward to do. That's why I was just out of frame. Like, this is really awkward. It is quite sturdy. It has been test fired with 3 magazines. And to remove the magazine, as you see again, it slightly gets stuck. Just tilt. It comes right out. New magazine. And like I say, it just naturally, as you hold it correctly, of course, pushes this cup back underneath the mag. So, what's left to do, I guess, is to, if there's anything left to do, is, try and maybe make the fit tighter. So there isn't so much wobble, but I kind of have this feeling like there's almost always going to be a little bit, just because of the way this is. See, when you hand make something, it's not always going to be perfect unless you have all these special tools, like the tools that people use when they make them in a factory. When you hand make them, it's a little different. But being how I'm making it for myself, my own personal use, and if I'm happy with it, then that's what really matters. But I figured I'd show something like this. I figured some of you 1911 fans would appreciate something like this. And back in World War II, I believe, or around that era, these stocks were made along with, I believe, a 16-inch barrel. And that was called the 1911 carbine kit. Am I gonna make the barrel? Well, I don't want to say, because I'm not entirely sure. But another interesting thing is that this is compatible with any other 1911 I have. Like, say, this WE Ultra Carry Pro. I could fit the stock to this just fine. Then if I want, and I'm feeling frisky, I can attach a foregrip. Oop. So awkward. I can't stress it enough. This is such an awkward setup I have right now. For camera anyway. For work it's just fine, but for camera it's a pain. I gotta figure something out. But and I would love to take off the grip panel and take off the grip panel of the Ultra Carry Pro swap those over, but it's not really good to keep loosening and tightening these screw bushings, because you'll eventually wear them out. You could strip them out, and then it's just going to cause more damage. It's just not worth it to me. So, it's up to you whether or not you want to take my word for it. I mean, how could you not? I mean, it's just so simple, because they take the same grips. And one more note before I go. These are Airsoft, just to make that clear, because I remember when I made a stock for the HFC C96 Model 712 gas non-blowback pistol out of an M16 Airsoft stock. I got a lot of bullshit, stupid, needless bullshit about it. How, oh, you know, if you do this to a real gun, it's illegal. But, like, dude, it's fucking Airsoft. Pay attention. People are always, like, so quick to, like, be assholes about petty shit. Like, no shit, like, I've been in the real guns before when in Airsoft. I got into Airsoft because I'm in the real guns and because of the laws in my state. So, there you go. But yeah, just to clear that up. I mean, if you're gonna go and do this for a real gun, depending on your state, I'm not gonna be held accountable because you're a jackass who's not abiding to your laws. But, anywho, there you have it. 1911 homemade shoulder stock. And, probably see it in action very soon. Alright, everybody. High power. Peace.